Hello, welcome back to LARK UK. Today we are doing the update review of the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite version 1. I've now hit near enough 50k with this shoe, so 30 miles. It's been held back a little bit as it's now hopefully my marathon race day shoe. So a couple months ago I did my initial run review, and today's going to be a quick update. I'll go through all the major parts of the shoe, give a score and an update. Let's get on with it. Yep, so this year I've obviously got a 5 shoe rotation, shoes for specific purposes: speed day, long run, easy running, daily trainer, and a kind of a carbon plated race day shoe. So this is my first experience of a carbon plated shoe. So let's quickly start with some stats and facts. So yeah, it's classed as an elite race day shoe, obviously a bit of a super shoe, carbon plated, elite foam, super lightweight. I purchased it for £75, but it's RRP'd for £170. It's got an 8mm drop, so 36mm in the heel and 28mm in the forefoot. And as I mentioned before, super lightweight, 229 grams or 8 ounces. I did my initial run, I'll tag that there. If you haven't watched that, go and watch that one. So yeah, now I've done about 50k near enough in this shoe. I've held it back a little bit, like I said, because it's going to be my race day shoe. And the only real race I'm going to run this year is the marathon in October. So I've held it back. I've not done a lot of runs in it, but I did a couple of test runs. I've done a couple of blasts in it, and just this week, I did a 10-mile time trial as far as I could in terms of a hard effort. So now I feel like I'm in a better position to give an overall opinion on the shoe. So let's dive straight into it. As always, I'll start with the outsole. So yeah, as always, outsole first. So yeah, I'll do some close-ups as normal as I talk. But yeah, just strategic rubber, good solid portion at the top, and then just strategic bits around the kind of, again, horseshoe around the heel. A bit of exposed midsole foam, the nitro foam. I'll go into that in a second. And obviously, like I said, when it comes to the midsole, there's a carbon plate visible through that little window. But yeah, the outsole, not bad. Again, not a lot of it, which again is my preference. Pretty grippy. However, again, in that 10-mile time trial, it was kind of a rainy, drizzly evening, and it was a little bit slippy. Probably a bit slippier than I would have hoped for. It's quite a firm rubber. It's not like a soft, kind of grippy rubber. Again, I think they maybe made it that way just because, again, it's a race day shoe. Maybe they made it a bit more of a firmer compound and a bit less of it to make it, again, lighter. It's all in terms of lightness is their kind of preference. But yeah, overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 after 50k. I say grippy enough, not loads of it. It is pretty lightweight in terms of good decent ground feel, but not, like I said, not great in really wet conditions. So 8 out of 10 for the outsole. Midsole, so again, anyone that doesn't know about this, obviously it's the Nitro Elite foam, so Puma's optimal peak performance foam. I think they use this in the Deviate Nitro Elite and also the Deviate Nitro, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong in that. Maybe they have a strip of that in the Deviate Nitro normal version. Obviously, this is V1. V2 is already out, but I got this last year on discount. But yeah, midsole is probably obviously the best bit of the shoe. Super lightweight. Again, I mentioned it on the stats before. Like I said, feels feather light on feet. In terms of the response, obviously it's got a carbon plate in it, which again isn't overly felt. It's kind of, I think it's placed fairly low down, maybe middle to lower end of the foam, so you don't have a real prominent feeling of the carbon plate under your foot. But in terms of the midsole itself, in terms of it is responsive, it's not overly poppy. The words I kind of use to describe it is smooth, nice, in terms of it's just that nice, smooth kind of gait cycle. It doesn't feel like really responsive like the Takumi Sen, which again is one of my speed shoes. It's not quite as poppy as that, but it's better. Obviously, they're better than the Reebok Float Ride, which is my daily trainer. Somewhere in the middle, like I said, it's got a nice response, nice smooth, like I said, just nice overall, basically. Just the right kind of window. I think it's going to be perfect for me, for my kind of, this is going to be my shoe for kind of half marathon efforts. And marathon efforts, not overly poppy, which I would have preferred for like a 5 or a 10k shoe. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good fit. Just really nice to run in, really smooth, really easy to run in. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for the midsole after 50k. Like I said, just all those good positive things, nothing really negative to say about it. It doesn't bottom out. Maybe you could do with a little bit more of it. I said some people have commented how it's kind of got a lower stack. Again, that was covered in the stats, but it's not too low. It's not like a minimalistic shoe. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 overall for the midsole. Upper, there's not a lot of it. Like I said, it's kind of basically see-through. There are my fingers, you can see them quite clearly. So yeah, whatever colour socks you wear in these, they will be visible. I like the look of it. I like this kind of I suppose it's flame upper from yellow to red. Really aesthetic kind of upper, but yeah, not much of it. Really lightweight, cellular mesh, single obviously skin of it in terms of there's not much to it at all. A few overlays to obviously add a bit more stability, and obviously they've got this big kind of band in the middle. You can kind of just see it through again. I think it adds a bit more support over the top of the foot, over the laces. Laces are pretty good, slightly springy, just enough. Padding, so again, just a little bit on the middle of the tongue, so you won't get any foot pressure in terms of lace pressure on top of the foot, and then a bit of a bumper around the heel collar. But again, heel counter, a bit like the Takumi Sen, because it's a race day shoe, non-existent. There's no plastic, no anything, no wedges or anything in there. But again, a little bit of felt just on the right back of the Achilles to prevent any rubbing. Yeah, so not a lot of it. Super lightweight. Again, that's kind of the aim of the shoe. It's a race day shoe. So yeah, super lightweight, very minimalistic upper, very breathable, very airy, but quite easy to get a decent lockdown with those laces, good quality laces again compared to the Takumi Sen. So yeah, nice and easy to get a lockdown. I'm going to give it again 9 out of 10 for the upper. It does exactly what I want it to do in a race day shoe. Super lightweight, super breathable, nice and comfortable place for your foot to be. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for the upper. So that's the major parts of the shoe done. I normally go quickly into a value score and a durability score. So value, this is a £190 shoe as mentioned earlier. I managed to pick it up for 75, I think it was, on an absolute bargain of a Black Friday deal. But yeah, normally for the value score, I've got to go off the RRP. I can't go off obviously what kind of bargain you managed to pick up or other people managed to pick up. So yeah, for £190 shoe, like I said, it does do a lot of good things. You can kind of tell the quality's there. I've started to notice that this year after going off the back of the budget shoe rotation I did last year. The quality does kind of sing through and does show through. You can't kind of beat the quality it provides. If you try and replicate this in a lesser quality shoe, you would probably notice that. Even on that, again, on that 10-mile effort, basically that perceived effort in any kind of run, it does decrease that. The foam does help progress you along. The geometry of the shoe, the carbon plate itself, all the tech in it, there's just the lightness of it as well, helps to make running just that little bit easier, makes you go that little bit quicker. It's a bit more enjoyable, a bit more fun as well. So yeah, overall for value, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. It's an expensive shoe, but it is a quality shoe. Like I said, you can probably use this for anything. If you wanted just to go and get it, you could probably run this. You could probably use this at any distance. Yeah, 5k, maybe even 10k. It wouldn't be the most poppiest of shoes, but with a carbon plate, decent geometry, and a responsive enough foam, you probably could get away with running a 5 or a 10k. It wouldn't be my first choice, but can be used for that. But half marathons, it'd be up there with some of the better quality elite shoes for running those distances. And again, because it's V1, obviously it's a massive discount. I think it's still available. If you manage to get it for like I did for less than half price, then I don't think there's many shoes out there for 75, 80 quid that can compare to this one. Obviously, there's better shoes, but obviously far more expensive. So yeah, value, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for a £190 shoe. It does show its quality. You can see the difference compared to some of the more budget shoes or slightly cheaper shoes. But yeah, overall, pretty good value, 8 out of 10. And just to wrap up now, so I normally go off, normally just try and predict a durability prediction. With this, it's obviously hard to tell. It's kind of one of the only carbon plated shoe I've ever owned. It's one of the only shoes I've ever owned in terms of specifically for race days. The Takumi Sen's similar, but has a slightly higher stack. It's carbon nylon rods instead of carbon plate. And I'm aware that the Light Strike Pro foam doesn't kind of die out quite quickly. It tends to get stronger and stronger as you go along. So, but yeah, the Puma Nitro foam, I'm not 100% sure how long this is going to last. That'll be the one that I think that goes first. The upper is probably solid enough. The outsole isn't really going to wear down that quick. So yeah, drop in the comments if you've got experience of running in the V1 of the Deviate Nitro. How long kind of longevity lifespan did you find you got from it? I'm going to predict 300, 350 maybe plus miles, hopefully. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 for durability. It's not the longest lasting shoe ever. Again, with the price, they kind of dovetail, so you'd want it to last a decent amount of time. But again, the quality's there for race days. It's not really meant to be a long haul mile muncher. So 7.5 out of 10 for durability. Hopefully if it gets to 300 miles plus, I'll be happy with that. But that's yet to be seen. Obviously, I'll give updates as I get through the milestones in terms of mileage. So yeah, overall, 41.5 out of 50, so 83%. So a good solid score. I said maybe the durability's marked it down, and maybe I've been a bit critical. If it does last longer than expected, obviously that score will be increased as I progress through the 100-mile or 250-mile updates. But yeah, really solid shoe. Actually, the real best bits of it are the midsole and the upper. The outsole isn't disappointing, but maybe is a bit slippier than you would have hoped for, especially for a race day shoe. Maybe they could have used a slightly softer compound, made it a bit of a more of a grippy shoe, especially in wet conditions. But yeah, overall, really good shoe. It's probably up there with my favourite shoes. I think when I ran into the Takumi for the first time, I said that was my favourite shoe and the best shoe ever ran in. This is probably not far behind it in terms of, it can probably do a little bit more in terms of it's far more comfortable to run in. And maybe like I said, it's better for those longer distances, especially for the comfort, and maybe it's not quite as poppy as the Takumi, but again, maybe that's a better thing for the longer distances. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. I said look out for updates as I get to the next milestones in all the 5 shoes. I'll give updates in terms of any score changes, etc. But yeah, drop in the comments if you've run the Deviate Nitro Elite, especially the version 1. What was the lifespan you kind of found? That will help me kind of gauge where this is going to last. But yeah, hopefully this is going to be the perfect shoe for me for the upcoming marathon. I'll hold it back now and not do too much in it, and I'll keep it fresh for the marathon race day. That's obviously later in the year, but I'm going to get into that marathon training block in the next few weeks. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Hopefully that was useful, and I'll see you all on the next one.